name is Amber Kilman, and this is my critical assignment presentation on ethical leadership. My introduction to chosen career. My chosen career is being a high school or college swim coach. So I'm already a high school swim coach at the charter school I work at, but I do want to become a college coach. I want to be able to teach another level that is higher than what is in high school. Plus, when you're a college coach, you get more money than if you were to be a high school coach. So, I love coaching. Coaching I've done for many years. I've coached on a club team for 5 years. I've coached on WSI for 5 years as well. And last year was my first year being a head coach. And my team did well. We went to CIF, and it was great year because that was the first time they ever had a swim team. So I love coaching. I want to be able to change the way that these kids develop. I want to be a big impact on them. I love it when I am able to improve them in some way, and it makes me feel good when I am a coach. When it comes to my leadership style, I believe that I'm a transformational leader. So when it comes to transformational leadership, Borland, Kane, and Burton define transformational leadership style as leaders that try to motivate followers to change or to transform themselves. So when I coach, I try to motivate my swimmers because that helps them in turn to develop more, and then they're able to perform better because when you're motivated, you're actually being positive. Grimm and Jago explained that transformational leadership needs to be positive. They state 3 key elements of transformational leadership correlated positively with subordinate satisfaction and performance. So when it comes to being a leader, you have to be positive and motivated because athletes want the sport to be fun. They're not going to be there if it's not fun. So you want to make sure you make it fun, positive, and motivating for them so they can develop better as athletes. So 2 strategies that help me be an effective transformational leader is managing a team successfully and motivating. So managing a team successfully is my number one leadership strategy. So what do? I create workouts based on their strengths that allow them the best opportunity to do well at their given events I meet. So let's say I have a breaststroker and I want to be able to make him better, but I want the team to improve as well. So I make the workouts personalized in a way to help the breaststroker, help them with their stroke and their endurance and everything, but I give them all the same workouts. So I'm able to create a workout in order for them to develop as a team and individually. Another is checking grades. Per CIF, you have to have a 2.0 GPA in order to compete in sports. So if you don't have a 2.0 GPA, you can't compete. School comes first. You want to make sure your athletes understand that. Yeah, their sport's fun, and that's something they like to do, but they have to make sure their school comes first, because if it doesn't come first, they can't compete if they don't have a 2.0 GPA. So I use grade checks to make sure that my athletes stay on track in order to compete in their sport. And you also have to be there if they have an issue or if they feel disheartened during a practice or a meet. Like, I had an athlete who swam the 200 IM in a meet, and it was her first time doing it. A 200 IM is butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke, freestyle, and you have to swim that for 8 laps. As soon as she got out of the pool, she had a panic attack, so I had to be there for her in order to make her feel better. And even though she came in last, I told her she did awesome. She was able to finish it. So you have to make sure that you're there for them, or else they're not going to feel that you are there for them. You also have to keep personality traits in mind. Keeping in mind personality traits of students that help students to engage more in learning. So when I coach visually. I have them try what I'm explaining as well, and then I coach verbally. So let's say I have to show them a drill, like a freestyle drill. I explain what the drill is, I show them by doing it myself, and I have them try it. So I'm hitting all the different types of traits that my athletes may have in order to apply what I teach to my coaching. I also teach sportsmanship. Sportsmanship is a big thing when it comes to coaching. Many of the students gain a more sophisticated understanding of fair play and sporting behaviors during the study. On numerous occasions, students were observed playing fairly and acting in a sporting manner. So, I teach sportsmanship because it's important to show camaraderie when it comes to sports. So I tell my athletes, if you finish the race and there's still someone racing, you stay in the pool, because if you get out, that's just rude. And also, if you lose to a swimmer next to you, shake their hand, because that shows that you are able to tell them they did a good job. So you want to make sure you show sportsmanship when it comes to being a team. You also have to be more motivating. Honolulu explains that coaching athletes has an impact on them by developing their technical and competitive skills. We as coaches have a responsibility to our athletes. We have the opportunity to be a strong and positive influence on the young people we coach. So when we motivate, we're being an influence on them, and they take this as a positive way to help them improve and increase their performance. So, for example, I had a swimmer that had an issue with her catch on freestyle. Her catch is when you grab the water at the top here and you push it, so that way you move forward and you increase your speed. So I told her, you're doing great on freestyle. There are just ways that you can improve it and make it better. So I didn't tell her, you suck, that's a terrible catch, what are you doing? I told her in a positive, motivating way that she's doing a great job. She could just improve things. So by doing that, I'm motivating my athletes to increase their performance. There are also some potential ethical issues that can occur when you're coaching as well. One's removing a swimmer from a team, and the other one is punishments. So I had an issue with almost removing a swimmer from my team. He was the best swimmer on my team. He did a great job. He made it all the way to CIF and almost made it to CIF finals, almost made it to state. But during the course of the season, he was acting up in class. He was hiding under desks, leaving the classroom, was yelling at teachers, and that's just not the way to represent your team. So I got to the point where I had to call his legal guardian and tell him if he doesn't improve his behavior, he has to leave the team. Because that's not only showing bad on him, it's showing bad on us. So another one that happened in the news, I actually watched this, and I actually met him too, was Ryan Lochte. During the Olympic Games in Rio in 2016, Ryan Lochte, Warren wrote that Lochte, who changed his story several times in the first few days, initially said their cab was pulled over by armed men posing as police. So background on the story, Ryan Lochte and a few other swimmers that were in the camp for the Olympic Games where the athletes were staying said that their cab was being pulled over by armed gunmen and that they were robbed. Well, it turns out they lied. And I don't understand why they lied, but they ended up lying about it. So they ended up being suspended for 10 months. Well, to me, I think they should have been removed from the team immediately, because that not only showed bad on them, but it showed bad on us as a team and bad on America because of their bad actions. So it's about being a team, not the bad behavior. Your team is important. When you have one bad egg, you have to take that bad egg out. In the Bible, it says it is good and pleasant when God's people live together in peace. You want to make sure that your team is together and they're peaceful and they understand not only is swimming individual, but it's a team effort. So you have to be there to cheer on your team. You have to be there when your team member's in trouble. You are a team. So if you have bad behavior, that looks bad on us. So you have to remove that from the team. So that's where removing a swimmer comes to be an ethical issue. Another one is punishments. So it's important to teach mental toughness And they explain this by enabling coaches to nurture a generalized form of mental toughness acquired during one's formative years into a sport-specific form. Well, let's say my swimmers are acting up for practice, they're not listening, they're just messing around, going underwater. You have to teach discipline. And discipline comes in many different ways. So you can make them do another hard set, or you can also have them do punishments such as push-ups, running, burpees, etc. to teach discipline. Because you don't want them to run around you. You have to be a tough coach. But some people sees this as abuse. So they see the push-ups as excessive abuse on the athletes. So you gotta make sure that when you are giving punishments, it's not going to be seen as abuse. It has to be seen as a learning experience. According to the Bible, no discipline seems pleasant at the time but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. So, you want to make sure that, yeah, it sucks in the moment, but you end up learning from it. So that way, you become better in yourself and as a team. So punishments, yeah, they suck, but in the end, they help you learn something. So in conclusion, I recommend that in order to be successful, it's important to be a great leader. So to be successful, you have to be a great leader because that helps you to improve the athletes. They come to you if they have a problem. They listen to you. They look up to you. You're supposed to be a role model for these athletes. So in order to be a great leader, you have to have these strategies and you have to think about the ethical issues that could occur. So you have to be a great leader to be successful. And the thing to think about is being a coach is one of the most rewarding jobs in the world. I've coached so many athletes in my time as being a coach, and it's so rewarding. Seeing them go from not being able to swim at all to all of a sudden swimming a 100 or a 500, that's a great accomplishment. Coaches are a big aspect in these athletes' lives because you teach them things, you help them grow, you help them become better. So it's important that when you are a coach, you have to remember you are changing their lives in some way. Here are my sources for my presentation. Coaching, I love it so much. I love doing it. I want to keep doing it as long as I can. And it's important to make sure that you are the role model when you're a coach or any kind of aspect like that when you're teaching young people, like teaching as a teacher or anything like that. So thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed.